Yes, as we go to break, I am now announcing into the recording that none of the audio has been recording so far because I am lame and have forgotten how to do this over the past 2 weeks. So, part 2 of this session will be recorded. Anyways, I'm going to break now. BRB.
Yes. Well, that was lovely.
What questions are you going to ask about Kleeck?
Things about enchanting.
Ooh, my boy, he's learning.
And also possibly familiars.
Okay. I love setting off traps with living creatures.
Not where I was going, but okay.
Hey, it works.
I don't like that it works.
Well, that's because Kleeck.
I'm gonna look at the Xanathon. Thing with enchanting is, I think, like, I'm just looking at a mechanical sense. I'll give you the role-playing whatever when that happens, but I think
I
it's
would
basic.
love the role-playing whatever.
But mechanically, I think for the most part, rules that are already written down is just going to be it's going to be as almost I was crafting a magic item, I assume. Which I think I talked a little bit about this, and I offered at one point because it was like basically how I think how we could do this is like you're crafting the bow, so I don't need the proficiency with, bow making tools, whatever you have. Because in the crafting a magic item, it says you either need proficiency with the tool with like whatever item you're making, or proficiency on Arcana. And so I think that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to find...
Are you not proficient in Arcana?
I am.
No.
I was surprised that Bro wasn't when I asked him about it, because I give almost any character, especially obviously if they're magic, proficiency.
Well, notably, clerics aren't int-based.
Yeah. I just like Arcana as a proficiency, but also, like, this wasn't my initial reason, but it just seems that a lot of, Arcana is one of those proficiency that's good to have for stuff like crafting. Like, animal handling's cool, but you don't need animal handling to craft something or blah blah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, that also depends on how nice you want your cheese, I guess.
Cheese.
I could do I could give you an uncommon property for or a common magic item bow thing would be 1 week, and then uncommon would be 2 work weeks. A work week being 5 days, not 7. So we could. There's also like stuff that, because like I said, because the whole fact that Kleeck has actually put time into making this a solid item itself might reduce.
Kleeck has put a ton of time into this thing.
I think I was about to say 400 gold, which is really funny because the magic item, like.
No, I put in 200 gold.
Oh, well, that's really.
But that's
funny.
a 400 GP price because I'm crafting it for 200.
Oh, okay. Well, this is interesting because like magic item crafting, is actually specifically for an uncommon is 200 gold.
Is it? I thought it was way higher than that.
For an uncommon, it scales very quickly.
I thought it was like 500 for a common.
Surprisingly, crafting common items is very doable.
They get me fucked up. Damn.
We're talking about spell scrolls. Those get expensive.
Yes.
And that's probably what I was gonna.
Oh.
And the funny thing is, we're probably not too far shy of crafting a rare item, though. That being said, that is a lot of work weeks. I think gold isn't an issue; it's more of a time thing. I think we could get
Be damned. You're right.
2 work weeks.
Also worth considering, this is crafting from scratch, not enchanting an existing item.
Yeah, that's
Oh my goodness. I feel so dumb that I did that.
Oh,
Okay.
you'll be fine.
I know, it's fine.
Bron.
Let me do a speed recap for those of you just tuning in because you wanted to skip forward. All like 5 listeners that will ever listen to this, maybe. So
Ho, ho, ho.
so
I'm one of them.
At the start of the session, the party was headed north. Back at the docks, they met up with Kleeck. They did a short rest because they was still really bleeding from that cone of cold.
I rolled
they were
4
just
ones
barely
out of
brought back.
5.
Yeah, Yoga had some horrible hit die rolls. It was actually kind of funny. Party then headed to the Civic Center with Father Bund Schwitt, the light cleric from across the river. Thus, inside, the party split, with Leon and the father going to speak to the guard captain, who was arguing with several of his subordinates in his office. The rest of the party went down a level, down a level, down a level into some deep kind of catacomb-like areas, and Yoga spoke with Caede Greenwood, kind of chatted with him about some stuff, including the mansion of Eve Razzan, the estate, and its dangers. Rest of the party, after Leon helped convince the guard captain to stay and help the city, guard captain went down with Leon and the father to speak with Caede. He ordered Caede released, ordered his guards, other than him, to leave, which they did, and Caede, thus released, did also speak with the party about his fears of Eve, that he wanted more money for the task of having had to have watched her for the past few days, and that he definitely doesn't want to have to go back to her estate, especially without her or one of her elven bodyguards to guide him through it, considering he believes it to be very, very dangerous and filled with traps that he can't confirm the existence of. And that's about where we are as the party now is leaving the place, Caede heading back to his room at Lummy's Luxurious Beds, and the group kind of splitting up to spend the next 16 hours until tomorrow morning, kind of getting prepared for their, I guess, raid of the Razzan estate, which I think at this point we believe is unoccupied. It's empty, possibly full of traps, and Caede seems to be aware of hidden rooms in the place, and also lots of money, other valuables, and possibly some hard proof that she and or the mayor are wrapped up in something nefarious. So that's what the party is looking for at this time as they prep for the next 16 hours. So this is going to include a long rest, or a long rest's worth of long resting, and a whole work day's worth of prep time. So, I mean, there's also like travel time. I'll just put that in there and say that you get both, because traveling isn't super strenuous, and I don't know, whatever. So yes, this is where we pick up again. I'm assuming everyone is here. Riley has left because she's not feeling well tonight. So we're going to assume that Lucy does a long rest, and I'll ask her at the start of next session what she did during the downtime, because I'm assuming that might take up the rest of it. I don't assume that we'll really start until then. Anyways, what are we doing? Who wants to go first? What are we doing?
Kleeck had something to talk to Yoga about, I remember.
Yes.
Yes, as we exit the Civic Center, or generally get outside, Kleeck is gonna tap Yoga on the back of the shell or something to try and get his attention. Yoga?
Yes, Kleeck.
Do you know anything about enchanting? He's gonna try to keep this kind of quiet.
Hmm?
Okay. Riley did say that Lucy would try and find out, so I'm going to roll a perception check to see if she notices.
Where is Riley's character? Kleeck is going to do his darndest to keep her from hearing.
So she's nearby, but she's kind of hanging out with Rhea as they're maybe gonna go on like a little bit of a hot date into the town. That sounds like something that Lucy would spend her time doing with with Rhea. She said She said she would spend time flirting with Rhea, resting, and trying to find out what Kleeck's doing. So I'm going with that. Let me open up this character sheet and find her perception. Actually, I'm just going to go with passive. I'm going to go with passive. Because I don't think she's paying super attention right now. So, passive perception against your... well, if you're trying to be sneaky, would it be like sleight of hand? Because you see her, she's there, she's nearby. Are you trying to be sneaky when you say this to Yoga? I guess do sleight of hand.
You just kind of trying to say it quietly and whisper to him a little bit.
I'll give you advantage.
Okay, fair.
As you say it, you can see Lucy's ears perk up.
No way.
Her passive is 17.
No way.
No joke.
No way.
I just had to open up her sheet to be sure. Passive wisdom perception is 17. Her investigation and insight, both of those are 11 passive.
Okay.
But she has advantage on active insight.
And I noticed this,
so
yes.
You'll notice her noticing it. You'll see her ears perk up, and but that's all you notice.
I want to see about maybe getting a little bit of an improvement on my bow.
Roll deception.
But it's the truth.
On your bow? Oh, then never mind. I didn't know why you were contacting him.
It's kind of a white lie. It's his bow, but like the bow he wants.
I want to get both enchanted.
Oh, okay.
Then it's not a lie.
Okay.
You're just being careful with your words and telling the truth. So I'm gonna leave it alone and say that you're telling the truth. So
yes,
that's fine. Go ahead.
I've enchanted a small amount of items in my day, particularly the most fun. There was an inventor. We stored a bunch of fireballs in a little metal cube and set it off in a lich's tomb.
Okay.
But I assume that is
you
not
hear
the
Brightleaf chuckle. That was you.
Mm-hmm. And I also
brain gears are gonna start turning a little bit there.
And I'll kind of like go back to Kleeck, but I can also make weapon enchantments if that's what you want. I assume you don't want the cube of fireball, as we called it.
Unless you can put it in an arrow.
Well, I mean,
I would also want one of
Write
those.
that down.
Write that down. Write that down.
Unfortunately, I lost the fire. This is actual canon now. Yuga used to have fireball. Unfortunately, at one point my spell book was taken. I don't have the fireball spell written down. I have yet to replace it. And I would need that in order to. Also, if I put it in an arrow, then it would be a one-use sort of enchantment.
One use of a fireball is kind of all you need.
Yoga chuckles and say, "You're not wrong, but I cannot do that one, unfortunately."
Okay.
Have you looked in town for a scribe or other scrolls?
I was considering doing that. I just haven't. But I wanted to ask him first. Because, I mean, he's with us. And I also don't fully understand it. I just know it's something that exists. And I want to get a better understanding.
Well, and Yoga, if you wanted to get Fireball back, you could also do the same.
I kind of just wave my hand. I just say, I've been messing with the spells in this tomb that I have yet to decipher. I haven't really looked for anything specific.
She nods. She doesn't understand wizardry, so she was just talking about scrolls.
But yes, I am aware.
So,
What sort of
How-
enchantment were you looking for?
At this point, I'm going to roll another perception check. Or I'm going to actually have her roll an active perception check. Because she is clued off from the passive. So, perception is a +7. Oh, wait, I can just do this. Why am I even... Haha. Okay. So she steps over with Rhea in tow and says, "What you talking about? Enchantments? Oh, I love enchantments. That's the shiniest stuff there is."
Kleeck is going to back up a step from Rhea. Please don't touch my bow.
What about your bow?
I want to enchant it.
Oh, that's really cool, Kleeck. What do you want it to do?
I don't know exactly.
Well,
I'm
don't
just
you have to
hoping to
know before you do that?
I don't know exactly what all the options are. I'm just hoping to get something that'll improve it a little bit, whether it's just making it better at more accurate and deal a little more damage, or if it's going to add something a little different.
Oh. Well, I mean, I honestly, to me, I just wonder what color it's going to be. Says a lot about the item, what color it shines.
Out of character.
It changes color?
Well, I mean, it doesn't change. It just is what it is, but they're not all the same. She kind of shrugs and is like rolling her eyes like, "Psh, don't you know that? I thought you liked shiny things, Kleeck. Although I don't know what you see in that gem. It's nice and all, but it's shiny."
Okay. If you say so.
I need to add a character question. If I was to choose, I don't know what. I think I think in roleplay Yoga would be choosing the enchantment, because he's the one enchanting it. If this was the case, but did you actually have an enchantment in mind, Astron?
No, I don't.
And then I need to ask Bren, can we make up
Yeah, I don't care. Tell me what you want to make, and we'll figure out how you make it and whether or not it needs to be scaled up or down in power. You need to make a bid, and we'll adjust as needed. But I can even just make up offers, but I don't know what you want.
You see, originally I was just kind of thinking, like, okay, yeah, I'll get a +1, maybe a +2. I didn't even really start to think, I could do more of this.
I'll say this: a +1 is nice, but it's getting to the point where it's maybe a little boring at your power level. So like a +1 with something. A +2 though, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think I'd like to aim for either +2 because it's genuinely strong, or yeah, +1 with something would be nice.
And then I was gonna ask, and that's why I'm streaming, because I had the what if you were using traditional Xanathars for crafting? Because I assumed it was, since there's not really an enchanting section, it'd just be like crafting.
Yeah, it counts as crafting. You're crafting it, and one of the materials is a completed whatever item. You know,
Alright, so let me grab Xanathars right down here.
I'm streaming it. Because that's the interesting thing, because Kleeck himself has already put down 200 gold. Our uncommon magic item is 200 gold actually to cost, but I assume Yoga would also need some type of would add some sort of cost, since he's the actual one enchanting with magic.
Yeah, so part of it is it's like the cost of a longbow is 50 gold. So is that correct? 50 gold for a longbow?
Mm-hmm.
So the material cost, if you're making a longbow, it's 25 gold because you make it for half cost. So
And I invested
you
200.
200 gold. So you're making a longbow that is 8 times more valuable than a street value longbow. So I'm going to say that like you've already put that much value into it, and that's why it's prime for enchanting, is because an enchantment can more easily take hold of something that already has a lot of intrinsic value. You create something because it's about material value of the components.
And you also
for
mentioned
making an enchanted bow, one of the components necessarily is a bow that's enchantable. You can't get an enchanted bow without an enchantable bow, right? So the missing piece at this point would be, once the bow's complete, you have Yoga, who can do the enchanting. You have to, depending on what you want to do, we'll probably have to maybe have other materials that maybe will be consumed in a ritual to provide the enchantment. It might take time, or it might take some rolls, but I'm not super sure yet. I don't want to just go by Xanathars because I like making it a little more flavorful. So at this point, we'll see what happens when you finish the bow. But you're on your way for sure.
Also curious.
It's going to take a little longer because you're putting all your craftsmanship into
right
it.
now, while Kleeck is still working on that bow, he's hoping that he can get his bow enchanted while he's working on that bow. Because you also mentioned, besides just
that's a
making something
pipeline.
really expensive to get it enchantable, something that is well used, well worn. Like, there's a difference between a dagger and a dagger that's killed 50 people.
Exactly.
This is Kleeck's bow he's had for life that he made. Like this is the first bow he ever made, kind of deal.
Okay,
Like,
then it's
made it himself as a child.
Yeah, it's Kleeck's bow. It is suffused with Kleeck's primal essence. He has been holding it for so long that it's a pretty resonant item. If you're looking at things on a very metaphysical level, Kleeck's bow is tied to Kleeck. That's why he found it in the dungeon. That's why he was able to restring it. That's why he hasn't lost it yet. Yeah, I'll say that. I'll go ahead and say that. You've hunted with it. You built it yourself. You cut it from the tree when you were being taught how to build a bow, sort of thing. You're very close with this piece of wood. Yeah, I'm fine with that. You can enchant it as well. I won't put a value on it. I'll just say it's enchantable. But definitely
That's why
the
I'm
one that
looking.
you're making is.
That is why I'm getting this one hoping to get this one enchanted now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you want to get one worked on enchanting while you're constructing the other one easily, you can do that.
Yeah, I'm looking to stagger that.
While the one's being worked on and enchanted, you probably won't be able to use it. So you might need a third backup bow while one is.
I can buy a backup bow.
And real quick, since someone else has Xanathars open right now, how much value can you put towards an object in an 8-hour workday?
I just got out of it.
Like 25 gold, 50 gold?
50 gold, I believe.
I think it just I thought it just kind of gave you a cost.
To determine how many work weeks it takes to create an item, divide its gold piece cost by 50.
Okay. So
items that cost more than 50 GP can be completed over longer periods of time.
So that's work weeks or work days?
It says work weeks.
Oh, geez. So yeah, a 200 gold longbow is going to take you 4 work weeks to complete, according to Xanathars.
I thought the table said an uncommon. Getting it back up now.
That's strange. I don't like that. I feel like that doesn't make sense.
I forget what it is, but there's something else that I swear it was like 50 GP a day.
I thought it was that too. Is that just artificers?
That may have also been one of Bunny's
this
more
table says it's like,
crafting things.
This says 2 work weeks and only 200 gold pieces for an uncommon.
That's really strange.
The red artificer that I showed you earlier, Brand, that has that in it.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen it recently. Either probably an artificer and red artificer, because I know that there's something about making things faster in artificer. Oh, it just says at 10th level you make things in a quarter of the time and half as much if it's common or uncommon. But it doesn't say anything about cost otherwise, so I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and say that it's not gonna take 4 work weeks. I don't know. I feel like that's just too long. I don't know what it takes a bowyer to make a bow. I really don't. Like I guess I could look it up. Like how long does it take to make a how long does it take to make a longbow? English longbow. You know, the really really long ones. The traditional construction of a longbow consists of drying the yew wood for 1 to 2 years, then slowly working the wood into shape, with the entire process taking up to 4 years. So a English longbow, a yew longbow, the traditional English longbow, is a 4-year process to construct. So I guess 4 work weeks isn't that ridiculous when you consider. Still,
At the same time, I believe I bought my wood pre-dried.
Yeah, I think you had your supplies were bought pre-dried and pre-bent, and whatever. I'm gonna say that it takes, because you built several longbows in a day before. I'm just gonna say with this really, I'm gonna say 4 work days instead of 4 work weeks.
And I've already put in like 2.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna support the crafting needs of my people. I think I also did that when Bron, you were able to make like 9 health potions in a week.
Right.
I think the limit is actually supposed to be like 1 regular health potion a day, based on value is the most you can do or something like that. Yeah. So it was because Ixo was helping and that other guy was. This is why you got so much, but like, yeah, it's one of those things. I like supporting crafting. If you want to put agency into making things, I want to support that. So let your imagination run wild. True creativity is when you make your creation, which is your character, make creations for your character. So
all right. In the meantime, I want to get my bow enchanted.
Okay, well, who are you going to talk to about that?
I believe I was talking to Yoga.
Oh, I know.
I don't know exactly what he can do, or honestly what the options
I will give
are.
you something. I will think of something. I'll think of something practical, but I do kind of want to think of something a little bit wacky.
Yeah, this might be the kind of thing we need to discuss a little bit, like after session and through the week, just for like what I could do for enchantment. I'd be pretty happy with just a +2 though. Just saying. If I can get my bow to +12 to hit and 1d8 +9 damage.
What I was thinking possibly is you could have one be the plus, just the straight plus bow, and then have the other bow have some of the wacky enchantment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm thinking for Riley's character, especially since Lucy doesn't rely on the bow as her main weapon, giving it something special to make it a better utility would be worthwhile. But for mine,
Grappling hook bow.
I would take just straight up pure bonus to its effectiveness, because it's the literal only weapon I use.
So you would want a +2?
Yeah, I think I want a +2. So that's what I'm going to try and do right now. Could Yoga do a +2?
Yoga, please roll an Arcana check.
I do have proficiency in Arcana, which is the whole thing about crafting, I will say.
Well, that's why it's a +6. So you just
I get the help action.
Do you have proficiency in Arcana?
No. I have a +2 int.
I will say that you are unable to help.
That's fair. That's fair. That's what I expected.
So Yoga, you're not sure how to make something like that. I would say that you're unable to figure out how to do a +2 bonus enchantment at this time. You can do a +1, and you can think of some weird things, but you can't do a +2. You just it escapes your grasp how to like manifest that higher level of power.
So yeah, I'll explain this in character real fast. So I'll kind of look at Kleeck and I'll say, most people that enchant bows with the intent of just making it a better weapon magically need both the knowledge on the battlefield and the knowledge of magic. I have one of those things, but not so much the other. I've never used a bow, and I would need that expertise as well with magic to make that enchantment for you.
All right.
Brightleaf sizes you up, Yoga. I'm sure we could teach you to use a short bow.
I kind of look at her and say,
I would actually be willing to help with that. Yeah.
Brightleaf smiles and looks excited.
Kleeck looks excited too.
kind of obliviously, probably about to hurt their feelings, I'm going to say, why would I need to use a bow? I have magic. I kind of like swing a little lightning lure in my hand.
Well,
I want to learn to use a little bit of magic, and I'm not complaining when I have a bow.
Eglor was really good at teaching magic.
Yeah. And again, I don't really want to learn anything to do with fire.
Also,
Yeah, he was kind of scary.
out of character. I can't use a short bow as a wizard unless that's.
Oh,
We're gonna change that.
With enough training, you can do anything.
Training montage.
Dun-dun.
All right, so we've done the discussion about enchantments, but we haven't settled on one yet. While you consider what enchantment you might want to get, shall we hop to either Bron or Leon, who may want to do
I'm
something?
going to suggest that we've kind of been taking the spot.
Yeah, I'll give someone else a turn.
all
I
good,
think
it's all
next
good.
time I get a chance, Kleeck is just going to go try and find an enchanter to see about getting his bow enchanted with a +2.
Sure. We have plenty of time, so no worries. Bron or Leon, either of you want to take point, or do either of you have anything you want to do as a group with another party member before you head off on your own? I don't know what you want to do, so.
Bron, you first. I've had the spotlight a couple times today.
How much,
Well, the animals delegate.
How much in-game time we got?
8 hours.
Another hour. Oh, in-game
hour.
time. Sorry.
Yeah.
In-game time. You have 16 hours, which you can split up however you like. If you want to spend like 2 hours working, 2 hours resting, 2 hours, I'm going to count it as a long rest and a full day of work. I don't care how you do it. I figure your character knows how to manage their time well enough. It's really just about like the granularity. I don't know. If you're running all over the place doing weird stuff, I'm going to say that sure, maybe your travel time counts as part of your task, but for the most part, I think you got it.
I was wondering if I could. Well, I was thinking of going to the temple in Sichuan. I don't know how far it is from here to fence off this stuff. I know that at least Yoga wants to come with for that.
When you say temple in Sichuan, do you mean the Temple of Light or do you mean Bronze Temple?
The super secret Coolsville Temple.
Okay, Bronze Temple. I'm gonna actually I haven't had to do map stuff for a while. I'm going to ping it on the map. I'm actually just gonna draw where it is in, I don't know, lime green. I'll draw it in lime green. Freehand, lime green. So the entrance is around there on the Imrabo lands, on the east side of the river, just north of the Lordner lands, about where you have been crossing over.
Ooh, arc. That's way closer than I thought it would be.
Yeah, that's where it is.
All right. So how long would it take to go there?
It wouldn't take but maybe an hour. Well, I guess Yoga can like swim if he wanted to come with, or just like walk along the bottom to get across. So you wouldn't even need a boat, and you can, water walk with a spell or ring of water walking.
Also, I could conjure a phantom steed.
Oh yeah, so
it takes 10 minutes, but it takes off the time a lot.
That's NBD. So yeah, you guys can easily get across in a number of ways. So I'm going to consider this to be not a real issue. You can get there in under an hour.
Okay.
So Yoga, if you and Bron want to go along To the temple, we can do that now.
All right, I'm letting Bron lead the way. Or I guess in character, if he kind of mentions that, I'll say, "Ooh, can I tag along with you? I've been very interested in your temples."
Sure. Just stay close to me.
Brightleaf also speaks up and says, "Could I come too? I'm not much for religion, but I am always curious to see a new place."
Of course, you can come along as well. Does anybody else want to come?
Lucy seems a little disinterested, and Rhea seems to be tugging at her to go and get some pastries. So the two of them, decline the invitation and head off, leaving Kleeck and Leon. Kleeck and Leon, you have been invited to the Bronze Temple.
Actually, yeah, I'll take that. I'll come with him.
All right, Leon's going with.
I should probably get to looking for things.
All right, and Kleeck is not. So the four of you, four of you, yeah. Okay, I'll grab Leon and drag him over to the other one.
Yeah.
Bop and Bop. Y'all are gonna get across the road one way or another and head down to the Imrabo lands. And I am going to. I think I'm gonna have to change maps. Yeah. Let me make sure that there's shadows over this one. Nope. I'm not gonna shadow this one. You just get to see the place. You want to just see the place? No, I'm gonna shadow the place. You don't get to see the place.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm like
I've been
that.
teased.
You have.
What is this
You have
tomfoolery?
the best kind of stuff.
While Bren's doing that, did you see what I put in the chat, Astron? Something with polymorph would be really fun.
Imagine putting that on an arrow. Hey, you see that guy 600 feet away? I'm gonna turn him into a sheep.
See that guy right there? Yeah, he's next on the chopping block.
Turn him into a sheep and he's gonna be dinner.
Lamb chops, anybody?
Okay, here we are at this new
Like
area.
a little casual cannibalism.
You are in the bottom left area.
Excuse me, cannibalism?
Now I need to find the NPCs to drop here.
So are we in the forest or are we like in that little city area?
So you're in a sort of wooded area at the bottom of sort of like a rocky outcropping behind several of the buildings. So this is a very, very kind of secluded little inlet that you don't see at first, but Bron, you remember the way, and you're able to push through some of the tree cover, kind of what looks like sort of like a false sort of face to get into this little clearing area where you can see there's sort of some carvings into some of the stonework of the wall here, and you can see a stairway to the left a little bit. You can see a little pathway to the right. It's a little obscured in foliage, but you can make it out as you have seen it before.
Alrighty.
Yoga's gonna kind of be drawing in his notebook a kind of crude sketch of this part of the place and continue it as we walk along.
We're just doing that right in front of Bron?
Yeah, so if you want to stop me.
Yeah, hell yeah. I won't take the notebook from you.
Just gonna be like, no. Oh,
Like,
oh, dang. Just take it.
I prefer it if you didn't record this part.
I look at it and honestly, I'll just take out the page and kind of rip it up. And it's like, my apologies.
Give a little nod. Also, if you see anybody, don't say anything. let me talk, alright?
This is well hidden.
Mhm.
Please roll a perception check, everyone. Leon, I guess I'll drag one of you here.
Yeah, it's fighting with me to freaking put a character down again.
Damn.
It's okay. That'll happen sometimes. Let me
25.
drag you over and
If someone is
Or-
stealthing and I don't see them, I will be upset.
grab a bright leaf as well. All right. So there's the 4 of you. And so we got a 25, an 8, and a 4. And there's been a lot less guidance than I'm used to tonight. But okay, that's fine.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Shit. Good
I have it on Brendan, and still keep forgetting to use it.
I think that's a 6 for bright leaf in any case. Yoga and bright leaf. Sorry, only yoga will see that there are 2 people hidden in the bushes watching you, and I will drop them so that they're going to be large at first. So I'm going to drop them in a different spot. New tokens, everyone. Forgot to do some of my stupid essential preps. So, okay, Yoga, you notice 1 in the bushes there, and another in the bushes over here.
I'll kind of make note of them, and then I'll kind of step a little bit closer to Bron when I say,
They are very clearly watching you. They have noticed you.
Yeah. I'll kind of look, are the men in the bushes your men? And I'll kind of like say the direction rather than point them out.
I'll kind of look over. I probably still won't be able to see them.
Roll again with advantage now that you've been told where they are. Yoga, for your part, you will see them stiffen a little bit, and they seem to be tensely watching you. With a 20, you won't see them.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll tell you this: they beat Brightleaf, so. And Brightleaf. Oh wait, actually, Brightleaf was a +1 because she's a Yoga would. Brightleaf would actually see them. She hit their DC. It was a 22 because she has a +6. So she will also not raise a weapon, having heard what you said, but she'll actually just also nod in their directions. So roll again with advantage.
Damn.
We'll see what happens. And Leon too. You can also check.
It's still pretty, yeah, because he's only got a +3. He needs to have a 19 or a 22.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, the 2 of you, and you know what? I'm just gonna have one of them step out, and now you can all see them. And he steps forward a few times, and Brother Malden, you bring outsiders.
Don't worry. They're with me. We can trust.
Yes.
Yoga was told not to say anything. He's not saying anything.
Don't fucking say shit.
The Shadowkeeper asks you to keep strangers from our lands, and you bring them to us.
You can consider them our allies. They're working with me. to
Roll
help us keep this place
persuasion.
hidden.
Roll
Don't worry.
persuasion.
Guidance. Gotta remember to say that.
Yep.
Damn.
You gotta remember to say it. 17 plus 3, 20. The guard, he doesn't flinch, but you see his eyes kind of like glance down for a second, and then he looks back up and says, "My apologies, Brother Maltin. You may enter by either the postern gate or the front." And he kind of just slowly recedes back into the shadows. You can kind of see him, but only just. You still can't see the other one.
All right.
Is there another one? But they're saying you can go forward.
All right. Yeah. I won't say anything. I'll just start moving forward.
Whoosh, right behind him.
Leon, is he not sent to you yet? No,
What
he's
is that?
not. Okay, controlled by Leon.
No, he's not. I'm
Now he
trying,
is.
but
He's yours. He's yours.
my legs, they broke.
my legs. Can you get him now? He should.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness, my tab closed.
Oh no, Brand GM is gone.
It's fine. It only takes but a moment.
Quick, stab the guy. Oh no, he's back.
I can't roll against you. You automatically hit. Automatically crit. No. Yeah. So, oh my god, it did it again. What is wrong with this thing?
Get the other guy.
Yoga's on the warpath. Okay. I'm just gonna use the scroll bar now. There we go.
Jokes on you. Peace wasn't an option.
So,
How long are we
as-
going to tonight, by the way? Is
another
past ones?
45 minutes, I believe, is to the typical time.
Yeah, I don't have any extra time tonight.
That's fine.
Or
I didn't
anything.
expect to.
Are you back at school already?
Yeah.
Gosh, you don't get 6 weeks. Crazy.
So the party heads to the front gate. That's totally fine. So as you step inside, I get to reveal stuff.
What is this, quarantine?
Nah, you're let in. And you see no one in this front chamber. Several statues of a hooded figure holding up a chalice, just upraised. But you see a path off to the right. And Bron, you remember that anyone of import will be deeper in, probably to the left in the common area, or possibly in the study, a little bit farther up.
Any themes of architecture that we've seen on our journey? Or is this completely different?
This is different from anything you will have seen, Yoga. You've never been in a place like this before. It is, I want to say, ancient architecture, but also not. Like, it's just of a style that's so strange and alien. It has elements of modernity in it. It has elements of classical. It's just, but there's something off to it. And you can roll an Arcana check to see what that is, or a religion check. Either up to you.
I have a +6 in both because I am made Yoga a religious man.
With a 21, Yoga can tell that there is divine energy in this place, that there is magic of darkness and shadow sort of etched into some of the stone here, and that the alienness of it is that it isn't of a school of magic, but rather it is divine magic. So that's what I'll say you get with your religious understanding. And also with that 21, you can recognize this deity being depicted as an aspect known as the Mournful One, but it's an aspect of the Dark Goddess, or the Dark Moon Goddess, which has various names in different lore and literature. But obviously we know who it is at this point. It's Shar. So moving on. This is the room you find yourself in.
You guys might see Yoga kind of stop walking, kind of just admire everything. He kind of got distracted.
I mean,
Man,
it's
I
pretty.
bet you guys get tons of paper cuts around here. All that edge.
Damn it. I'll just look back at Yoga and go, psst. This way.
Sorry.
I say nothing. I just continue on, walking forward. The march of shame as it is.
Alright. Which way is the way to the fence?
Okay, so you'll sort of like a common room in here, and you'll see down a hallway here. And let me just gotta set up the map a little bit because I didn't do enough of this ahead of time.
Bryn, what the heck, man?
Yeah,
We're
I know.
not prepared. What is it, man? Is everything okay?
See, the cool thing is I can do this pretty quickly. So you'll see that there are several guards or priests priestly guard, whatever. They actually look kind of like Bron, but you know their armor is a little different. They have a similar feeling to them. Like they're very sort of rigid and tense and kind of stoic looking, and they don't have a lot of emotion on their faces. And as they see you step up, even though this is clearly a common room, they are kind of all eating in silence, and they all kind of look up at you, notice Bron, you, and recognize you. You don't recognize them. Some of them don't recognize you, but like by the fact that you're here, they assume it's okay. You're not attacking. They just look back down at their food and continue eating. There's no one in here that you recognize of import. So, Leon.
I'm sorry, I'm doing too much at once again. Fuck.
No, you're fine.
Go on.
So yeah, party heads along northwards. Let me get all right. So more revealing, and
Kind of wild. This place was hidden behind a rock.
yeah, a little bit. Oh, I've revealed more. I'm not sure why it's not revealing it. There it is. Okay, so you can see Bron down to your right is the main temple shrine with the summoning circle and altar that you had appeared on when you first arrived here. However, you know that the study of the head priest is and the door to your left.
Okay, so the head priest is up here.
Head priest is behind this door. Is their like room and quarters and stuff. You recall that you discussed in a meeting room that was right here, but you recall that seeing through the door, you didn't go in here, but you recall seeing in here that this is like the head priest's room and quarters and stuff is kind of in this area. You didn't stay here long, so really the areas that you've seen are the areas that you remember.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, I don't really want to talk to the head priest right now. Mostly just hit some
So
of my
what
things.
are you looking for?
I'm looking for the fence, of course.
Oh, you're looking for the fence. Okay. Well, let's see. All right, then let's see. Pop that there and resize. And okay. So Leon, actually, you will or no, Bron, you will see coming out of like a side hall and kind of appearing in the altar room, you'll see a woman that sort of recognize you. You maybe recognize her briefly from before. She was here, but you don't know much more than that. And when she sees you, she gives a little bit of a start and begins to head over.
All right, I'll just turn to face her as she's coming towards me.
Brother Maldin, you've returned.
Yes.
And with some of the town's heroes as your companions.
Yes, don't worry about them. They can be trusted.
I
Well,
appreciate the discretion.
I came back here to see if I can sell off some of these stolen goods I got from a few dead bodies. In the name of shop.
Oh, of course, the Dark Mother guide all. Well then, you would be wanting to speak with me. And she gestures, flamboyantly to herself.
Excellent. Well, it's good I ran into you then.
Well, yes, I had actually been looking for you. after the explosion, and I had a feeling that that might have been you.
Yeah. The
It
town didn't
was?
expect a thing either.
Oh my goodness. By the Dark Lady be praised that...
Side glance at Brightleaf.
Yeah, exactly. Well, then I do believe our humble temple is in safe hands if you have been able to manufacture this travesty.
Well, we're not entirely out of the woods yet. There's still the urban developments going on. Still haven't taken care of that.
Oh, you have my
Sorry.
word that no one will tear these lands so long as I control them. And for me, all that's left is tomorrow's vote. Soon the mayor will be out of power, and all should be dealt with.
Happy days.
Indeed.
Do we rip off that bandage or?
Oh, is there another one of you around the corner?
Yes.
I'm gonna just kind of slowly poke my head around. Hello.
This is sort of
Oh,
Nice
the
to meet
masked
you.
one. You must be the one that Eve was talking about.
I'm going to slowly cock my head. Yes. Do you, I'm sorry, do you know her?
Oh, of course, we have dinner together every second Tuesday.
I see. Well, that's lovely. And I'm going to just,
Why? Has something happened to dear Eve?
Bron is just staring directly at fucking Leon.
no, it's nothing. I just,
Roll deception.
fucking hell, why did I agree to this?
Nice.
20. God fucking damn it.
I see.
Anyway, if we could
Yeah.
get to business.
Yes, of course.
What I came here for.
What do you have for me?
Plenty of
She kind of
things.
rubs her hands together, showing that universal, like, let's get down to business, I'm greedy sort of thing. Like, yes. Shall we step into the altar room? Such work is blessed in the eyes of our Dark Mother.
Yes, of course. And gesture as like, yeah, you go first. Here we go.
Brightleaf, similarly to Yoga, is looking around at the statues and architecture, but wisely is not touching anything, just kind of like, ooh, you know.
I will say, especially after the Eve comment, Yoga's definitely looking away from the architecture and is kind of focusing more on the people, but is again remaining quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Leon, are you not following them into the room?
I'm stunned and freaking irritation, and god damn it, Bron, why did you bring us here?
Master Razzan, are you? Oh, thank you.
Yes, sorry, it's rather tiring day.
Oh, yes, quite. I have been watching across the river, and she lifts those little binoculars that she has on a stick and says, quite the show you put on the docks.
Oh yeah. It was pretty spectacular.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look at Bron, let him talk.
Yeah. Anyway, you asked me what I have on me. I'll show you. I'll pull out my little pouch full of jewelry, rings, necklaces, all that.
Oh my, these belong to Lord Earl. He's
Yep.
gone missing recently. Do you happen to know anything about that?
Yeah, I killed him. And get this, nobody fucking knows I did it either.
Brightleaf looks a little stunned that you just said it, but kind of gets over it really, really fast.
Almost
And-
the exact same reaction from Yoga.
But the woman who you're speaking with just kind of like giggles a little bit and says, he was a slimy fellow, and nothing of value was lost.
Exactly.
I believe I can get you, and she's going to give you the face value for them. So it was 7 rings, 25 gold, up average each, so 175 gold for that.
175 gold.
Would you like that in gold or platinum or silver? And what mint?
Ooh, just give it to me in gold.
All right, Aelin Miley gold is probably going to be the easiest.
I also have some other jewelry from a long time ago.
Okay, do you have the values for them?
No, but I have them right here. They
Brass
are
ring with
from
garnet.
Archibald Johannesburg. Is that his name?
Yes. Are you actually going to sell the signet ring?
I don't know.
You totally can, but it's like a real signet ring. They made a copy of it and gave it to Percy. You have the real thing.
Alright, I'll keep that for now.
As you actually hand it out, she says, "Oh my, this is something right here. I could give you 500 gold for this. I know something that I could use this for."
Excellent.
So you will hand it over for the 500 gold?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so the Archibald Johannesburg signet ring is handed over for 500 gold. The gold ring, 25 gold. The brass ring with the garnet, I will give 15. And the silver necklace with the emerald, similar to the signet ring, it'll be thrown on for 50 gold with the signet if you give it that much.
Do it.
Okay, so that's 550, 15, and 25, I think. So that's the 590.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Okay. 590 gold to Bron for the jewelry.
Oh, that's crispy. I also have that very fine and masterfully crafted breastplate. It also belonged to Lord Earl.
Oh yeah, let me get his thing. How much was that worth?
I think it was 1,200.
It was worth 1,200. Because it is hot and it is well, and she kind of like traces the filigree across the front of it. Many people know of this breastplate. It has been worn by the Earl at many gatherings, so I will have to move it somewhere else, somewhere where no one knows his poor unfortunate soul. So moving it will add a little bit of expense. I can give it to you for 800. Or take it from you for 800.
I don't know, it's a really fine breastplate.
Oh, it certainly is, but you will have difficulty giving it to anyone else around here at least. And I'm not sure if you want to carry it with you. Although you have a boat, I'm sure that you can leave it on the boat until you find some port where no one knows of this benighted Lord Earl. And honestly, the longer you have before you sell it, the more likely people are to forget he's not well loved. And she keeps that same sort of like cold smile the whole time.
About 900 gold.
Her smile warms. Roll persuasion.
Ooh, let's do it.
Can I give advantage for just as existing?
No.
Okay.
No. With a 23, actually, you'll get it. She'll look at you and say, "For you, Brother Malden," and she'll give you 900 for it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, I don't know if I can carry this money pouch anymore. It's pretty heavy.
Yes, that will happen. And she kind of like, you see that as she's been taking out pouches of gold, she keeps them all like under her large hoop skirts. So like as she moves, you kind of hear a jingling, but you don't know where it's coming from, and you realize that she has like a huge money belt under her skirt.
All right. All right. Well, I think that concludes our business for now.
Well, if you have anything else, you know where to come. You need only ask for Lady Imrabo.
Of course. Thank you again.
Are we likely to see you tomorrow at the election?
Most definitely.
Very good.
Huh?
Yeah, you made
Proximo?
some money. Well, if there is nothing else, I have a gala I must attend.
Dark Lady bless you, sister. I'll be off now.
As you, Brother Malton. And she kind of bows before you. She glances over at Leon. When next I see your sister, I will give her your regards. I'm sure they are as warm as she was when she saw you.
I'm just gonna nod my head.
As I'm walking past Leon, I'm gonna like pat him on the shoulder to beckon him come with me.
Oh,
At this point, are you just planning to leave the group? Okay, so unless anyone wants to do something to stay, y'all can just leave. So
Yeah.
we
I'll
will
probably
jump
say
back
something
to...
once we're like outside of the temple.
Sure.
So once we're outside of the temple and a safe distance away, of course, I'll kind of say to Bron and Leon, kind of looking at them too. So I hope she won't mind that Eve is probably not coming back.
Be like, Leon, I told you.
you didn't tell me she was with Eve. Fuck do you mean?
I didn't think I would have to. God.
I am the. You tell me
Shaw,
that.
damn you.
I am the Grand Vizier of Belforet. How the fuck did you not expect me to talk with another religious woman?
You're in my temple, you do as I say.
Fine, whatever. Next, little. It doesn't matter right now. But
You do know you aren't the Grand Vizier any longer, Leon.
well, yeah.
We heard about what happened to your family and your position, even in my city.
Yes, I'm aware. But the title holds weight, and it's helped on more than one occasion to get a point across.
Can I roll history to see if I know what happened?
Sure.
I'm not sure if I would. Probably not.
You've heard of Belforet, and you've heard that one of the roles in it is Grand Vizier, and that there is a council of viziers. Other than that, you don't recall. That's about it.
Fair enough.
You haven't really been to Belforet much in your travels, maybe just along the coast once or twice. You, of course, have heard of it, but beyond that, it's a land of trees.
Land of trees and
Big
people-
ones.
I like dusty tombs.
A land of trees and people who stick them so far up their asses they might as well be a fucking druid.
Wild shape.
Wild something.
Well, so is the party going to cross back over to the other side of the river, or do they like to do on this side?
Nothing for yoga.
Nothing for Bron either.
GTFO.
Sorry. So I'm going to assume you all cross back. So then that takes maybe a couple hours to cross, do the talk, cross back. So you still have 6 hours of time that you can spend, and you have 8 hours of long rest. So once again, what would you like to do? And Kleeck, talking didn't take very long. So what are you doing during these 2 hours? Are you going to be looking for an enchanter?
Yes.
Have you had time to think about what you're looking for?
I know what I want for my bow, and that's what I need immediately. And I have an idea what I want to do for Lucy's bow as well. But the first
Okay.
thing I will ask
Does involve polymorph.
is, especially for the money I put in, does it have to be a long bow? Or knowing that not only Lucy is a relatively strong person, but Lucy also has Giant's Might, and on a regular basis grows quite large in combat. Can I make a great bow?
If by great bow, do you mean a bow that uses strength instead of dexterity for either damage or to hit?
I don't intend that because Lucy is dex based.
That's what I thought too. Okay.
Something I'm looking at here that let me.
Please
Okay,
link.
I can't
I'd love
copy
to take a look at it too. No, you're fine.
I'll send the link.
If I can
I'm
interpret
not looking at the bottom paragraph of it, but the top half. Basically, it's just a bow that has a D10 as the damage die for the base thing. Is what I'd like to do as like the base itself, and it requires a strength of 13 or higher.
Champion's great bow. Rare weapon, longbow. Large bows wrought from the boughs of an old resilient tree. Blah blah blah. Difficult to draw. 13 or higher strength. Damage die is 1d10. Crits on 19 or 20.
That
Once on
part
each turn
I
when
may
you
try
make
and
a
get with the
range.
magic.
Okay.
As for the bottom paragraph, I'm not that interested in that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm probably just
I'm
gonna
looking
go
to take
with.
a little inspiration from this.
No, that's totally cool. The champion's great bow makes me think that like the champion is from the champion subclass. That's why you get the 1920. The
Yeah, I think
great
that's
bow
intended.
is probably the D10 with the strength of 13 or higher. So that's
Yep.
fine. I'm fine with that. If you want to, so then you're making not a longbow but a great bow the whole time. Okay. I'm just gonna say that's fine. Retcon it. You were making a great bow the whole time. Go with that, because you know. That
As
would have
for
been annoying.
getting it enchanted later on, I think the crit bonus and maybe like one more small feature that would to replace that bottom paragraph that I'm not that interested in.
Okay. So you want to make a great bow, so just a long bow basically that does D10 instead of D8 damage, requires
Uh-huh.
strength 13 or higher, which
Uh-huh.
Lucy's strength is 14, so she can use it.
Yep.
And then the 19 or 20 on crit is the magical effect that is added.
And maybe a little something else as well, if possible.
something wacky from yoga.
All right, I'll think of an aesthetic thing to add. But yes, if this is the enchantment and design for the object that you want to create, we can have you make this instead of a longbow, and you're still about halfway done at this point.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it's the same cost and everything. It's just different.
I'm heavily
but the enchantments
considering
will have to be added after the fact.
I'm heavily considering for another possible effect of the enchantment, maybe a limited time use like stun or something, like so many times
Stun is
or whatever.
powerful.
Yeah, I know that though as well. I don't know.
I'll think of something.
Like I know at 8th level
I'll
spells
take
stuns
any.
do.
I'll take any suggestions.
Yeah, no, I'll think about it in the week between. But this is a great base, so thank you.
I'd be pretty happy with even just the crit 19 or 20, because that'd be a solid uncommon item.
Yeah, and then for yourself, you're looking for the +2.
Flat +2.
All right, so go ahead and roll perception check to try and find the place that'll have.
I'll be making sure
stuff
first
for
to
you.
try and navigate to any market district.
Well, you already know one is near the docks in the Civic Center.
I'll probably search there first.
And you've been across the river to Imperial Land before, and you know that there's quite a few different places there. But you definitely haven't gone looking for an enchanter yet, so you don't know where to look. So yeah, just go ahead and roll perception.
I'm definitely going to try and check the market district specifically, because that's where I assume places of business will be.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say that with a 12, you just barely hit the DC because you're looking in the right spot. And you're able to find an enchanter.
Loving it.
All right.
We gotta pitch in as a team to all remind ourselves that Lucy crits on 19 with this bow, because I know I would forget.
So the
a good
name,
idea to work with that effect would possibly be something that applies on a crit, maybe. Just a buff. I don't know. Like maybe a magical effect that adds something on a crit. Since the magic item buffs critting, or makes it easier to crit. If something triggers on a crit, that would fit pretty well for the item, I think.
So as you come across the building, Kleeck,
Sorry.
you're fine. It's a small brick building, kind of set in what would nowadays be called like a strip mall, along with several other smaller businesses, and it's called the Faulty Tome, and it has a small windowed sort of like front area with like a number of like just what look like old beaten books put on a cart like in front of the place, and there's a door open, slightly ajar, and you can head in.
What does it look like? Because that name doesn't give me a lot of hope.
It's a small brick. It's a small brick building.
Does it have like windows that I can look through?
It has a window.
What does the inside look like? Does this look like a pretty nice establishment, or does this look a little on the lower quality side?
It looks like there's stacks of books and racks of. It looks like somewhere between a pawn shop and an antique shop and a bookstore inside, and it looks like some of the stuff in there is kind of old, and it looks like some of the stuff in there is kind of new. So there's a smattering as you look through the window. One thing though, the place is pretty full of stuff, not of people. You don't see anyone in there as you peek through the window. You see a full place.
It's worth a shot. Kleeck's gonna go in and brave the claustrophobia. Because he prefers having space to spread his wings.
So as you head inside, you kind of head through like a couple rows of shelved books and into a little open area in this brick building, and there's like a suit of like plate mail, but there's like cobwebs on it, and it's like in the corner there's a rack of various kind of basic looking spears. There's shields hanging up on the wall. Some of them look nice and like they're well oiled and polished and maintained. And in fact, as you look around, go ahead and just roll a perception check.
I can do that.
Yes, you can.
Not well though.
Nope, not well. So as you look around, you see that there's just a lot of stuff in here. There's weapons. There's just objects like little statues, little. There's some things are shiny, but they're kind of distracting. You they catch your eye, but then when you turn to look at them, they're not really shiny anymore. They're kind of dull and tarnished and worn. So you have a hard time noticing anything in particular in here. But as you're kind of stepping through, you sense a sudden presence looming over you, and as you turn around, you see a very, very tall blue dragonborn in like robes that go down to just their little clawed feet are peeking out from underneath the hem of these purple robes, and the dragonborn stoops down and to get a closer eye level and says, "Hello, may I help you?"
Kleeck is gonna shrink back a little bit. Kind of.
"Oh, I'm very sorry. I did not mean to make you frightened. It's just that such a pretty little bird like you coming into my shop does every day, and I would like to help you. What is it that you are looking for?"
Enchanting services?
"Oh, yes. I can take care of that for you. What would you like? I see." He looks you up and down and kind of like reaches over one claw and just kind of like plucks at the bowstring on your longbow. "I see you are something of an archer, yes?"
Yeah. He's gonna take another step back to try and get his bow out of reach.
He will take a step forward to fill the space and kind of obsequiously rub his claws together with his sort of billowing sleeves, kind of down, and he's rubbing them together like, yes, I believe I can help you. What would you like for your bow, little archer bird?
For my bow, I am hoping that I can get something simple but effective.
Ah, yes, simple but effective. Yes.
I don't know how to
What did
say
you have in
+2
mind?
enchantment in non-meta.
Ah, yes, something like that. Very good. Let me see.
I will tentatively hand him my bow.
You could say something like magical aiming. Is how I kind of interpret it. I don't know.
Bow of whoop
Yes.
ass.
Yes, quite. I believe I can take care of that for you. Do you have, do you have a timeline for this?
Just as soon as possible.
As soon as possible can take many forms, my little bird. He's asking you
Well,
how long you want it to take.
I don't know how long I'm gonna stick around town, and I have a couple days left on a current project I'm working on that I would also like to get enchanted possibly in the future. So,
Yes, another
optimally,
enchantment, you say. Very good, very good. And on a rush job.
at very best 2 days, but I don't know how long this kind of thing takes.
2 days, you say. I believe I can do that. However, the cost will be a little steeper. You see, this work, it takes time, and to rush it, it could be dangerous. Yes, very dangerous.
What kind of dangerous? What's being risked?
How familiar are you with the arcane arts, with the gift of enchantment, my small bird? Please tell me yes.
Very little.
Then I believe it would take longer to explain it to you than it would to enchant this piece. Yes, I do.
Okay.
He
What's the
kind of
price?
tentatively reaches forward and says, "May I please see the piece? I will only know then, yes. I must
I
know what
will
magic the piece carries."
I will tentatively hand it to him.
He takes it very, very gingerly. Like you wouldn't expect it of the dragon, but they turn it over in their hands, kind of holding it with just their claw tips and like turning it over and like inspecting it, kind of looking down the length of it and like, just not drawing it at all because but kind of just feeling the wood of it. Ah, yes, this it has the smell of you, little bird. Yes. This will work fine, yes. But certainly you must know, it won't work for anyone else, no. Only you.
I'm okay with
Requires
that.
attunement by Kleeck.
Yes.
Oh my god, that's amazing. I don't intend for anyone else to use it. It's been mine for as long as I can remember.
Oh yes, this I can tell, yes. Very nice. It drinks of you deeply, the wood. You say you have 2 days?
At very best, yes, but longer is an option if necessary. What would be the price for 2 days?
Moment. 2 days, yes. Fast delivery, yes. 1,600 gold it will be.
I don't have that.
Perhaps we can work out some sort of deal. You say you wish for repeat business, yes? But limited time, If you could make it take longer, I could afford to not make as many dangerous shortcuts. Yes, you see, very dangerous to go fast when it is not necessary.
I'm okay with that.
Then, with 4 days, I can cut it in half. Yes, cut it in half. 800 gold.
I'm gonna give it to you straight. I have 538 gold.
Roll persuasion.
+0, give me strength.
Oh! I'll be damned.
Oh my
I'll be
god.
damned.
It's destiny.
I love this.
Destiny
Okay.
takes claims for natural 20s. 'Cause that's them rules.
Of course it does.
My little bird, I have not seen one of your kind in many moons, yes, many cycles of the sun. It is a pleasure to have you here in my store, yes, and requesting such fine enchantments. It will be a pleasure to work with you. I can but ask that 600 gold, yes, 600, for the promise of repeat business, and yes, just bring the rest upon return. 4 days, and I will have it ready for you.
I'll nod a little bit. Is there any chance any of that can be made up and work as well?
What kind of work would the little bird have to offer me?
Well, I'm not very magically inclined, though I am attempting to learn a little bit in the near future. But I am adept in the wilds. I am an amateur leather worker. I am I'm very capable of working with bows and arrows, both making and using.
He nods twice.
Yes, I can see quite clearly. You see, it has been troubling of late to gather supplies. Recently, the mages of Anserum have been buying up everything. The river trade, it takes. But you say you are adept at finding things, little nicks and knacks hidden here and there. Yes,
Yeah,
I could use you.
I
If
do
you are
have
willing,
a good
I have a
eye and a
list.
fast flight.
A list of supplies I need. It can be found in the countryside nearby, but I cannot go as fast as you. No. I cannot go through the trees as quickly, no. You are fast, yes? I will
I'll
write up a
nod.
list for you, and if you can find this, I will get this done for you in 2 days. Yes, 2. For the same price, 600 gold.
You offered work. He
Okay,
has something he needs.
I can definitely get the rest of the gold.
That was the D20 I rolled was an intelligence check for him to realize how he could use your offer.
What kinds of things am I looking for? What am I gathering?
He kind of sweeps away from you with a flourish and heads over to a counter that is kind of covered with stuff, which he just kind of pushes over to the side with a loud crash. It lands on the floor, and he pulls out a parchment. There's a big cloud of dust nearby, and with a sorry, he blows the cloud away to make room and pulls out a quill, a nib, and ink, dips it in, and begins writing a list of supplies. And after a moment, he sprinkles some sand on it and kind of slides it away to get all the extra ink and hands it to you rolled up and says, "This should do just fine. If you know anything about the local herbs and flora, and perhaps some of the fauna as well, yes, then I believe you should find it quite easily."
If I'm
you
working
do
with
need any
plants and
help-
animals, I can definitely figure this out.
Ah, wonderful. Then I shall see you in 2 days, my dear bird. Yes, I will have it ready for you. However, if you should so happen to find a smoking crater here when you return, you shall know that it did not go well. I will see you then, yes.
Would you like half up front?
Yes.
I will lay down 30 platinum.
He just slowly, without breaking eye contact from you, unrolls a claw from out underneath his robe and like holds it out. And as you put the gold in, he kind of just slides it back under his robe.
Yes,
30
thank
platinum.
you.
30 platinum.
Straight platinum.
Platinum, yes. A beautiful metal. Holds enchantments very well, yes.
I can imagine.
Can you? I thought you said you knew nothing of the enchanting. If you know that, then you know quite a bit already.
I said
My
I can
little
imagine,
bird.
not that I knew.
Imagination is most of it, my friend.
The next thing I bring is going to be something of my own craft, or specifically something more recent. I have put a lot of gold into it, and I'm hoping to maybe get something a little different out of it. But
Ah,
we can handle the details of that later. I just thought I'd give you an idea what I'm going to be bringing in. It's a gift for
I
a
look
friend.
forward to seeing your workmanship. If this piece is your first, then your latest must be magnificent.
He'll give a shy smile at that. I'd like to think so.
Well, I look forward to seeing it. My little bird, shall we write up a contract?
What? Elaborate on that.
Ah, nothing quite so formal as you might be afraid of, but simply a writ saying that you will return for your piece. I will need a name and signature, and also an agreement unto the price. 300 gold now and 300 when you return.
Okay.
Along with the list of ingredients in your possession, which I have copied here in triplicate.
Okay. I can do that.
So another moment as he does a bunch of furious scribing, and he slides over a piece of paper, and it is what languages do you speak?
Not draconic.
It is
I
written
speak-
in it. It is written in duplicate, draconic, and common.
I
So
read common.
you see basically a Rosetta Stone written in draconic runes, and then it's written in common underneath in like a really elegant like cursive, and then the line of the signature for you is at the bottom.
Okay.
And also to enter your name in script above it.
I'm gonna take a few minutes to read this through carefully.
Roll an intelligence check for me.
Oh boy. I ain't about to skip the terms and conditions.
You understand it pretty well. There's no hidden clauses or gotchas. It's what you agreed to, which is just the only clause in it is that if you don't come to retrieve it, he will hold it for you indefinitely. And if you don't pay, he will hold it for you indefinitely. And as you read that, you kind of come to wonder that a lot of the things here might be because no one came to collect for the second half. And he appears to be, or the Dragonborn appears to be quite a pack rat for keeping these pieces of work.
At the same time, it is nice to know that I can come back and get it even if I don't have the gold on time.
Oh, yes, of course. It would be a very strange business if I did not keep the pieces for the clients.
And he kind of like gestures over to you see a series of cabinets that are very dusty, but you can see like kind of scrolls and pieces of parchment kind of sticking out of the sides, and it's like
there are many unfulfilled orders waiting. I do have. I wonder if it might be a good idea to part with them, but who knows if some will return. Yes, my ancestors would not be pleased if I let it go, no.
I just realized he's a dragon and he's a hoarder. This is too good.
Welcome to the wildest.
Alright. Kleeck is going to sign, and
Ah,
I'm gonna
yes,
walk
thank
out.
you. Kleeck, is it? Little archer bird, I look forward to watching you pull the strings of this bow.
I can sign the well, I'm not sure if it would really be any more official, but my original name, that's just the version you can pronounce.
Ah, worry not. That you have signed is enough. I shall remember you. And should you not make it back in 2 days, or 4, or 20, or a year, or more, it will be kept here for you, yes, kept here for you.
I'm gonna be
Kleeck,
eyeing
so
my
long as you
bow
return.
and feeling odd without it on my back. I will definitely be coming back for it as soon as possible.
Ah, yes, they all
I've
say
never-
that. Yes, I look forward to seeing you again, Kleeck, yes.
Last time
Oh,
I
dear
went more
God.
than a day without it, it was not a good day.
that's true.
I'm going to walk out, and I gotta get going.
Yeah. You feel his eyes on you as you leave, until you leave, and after you leave through the window, and then as you are out of sight of the window, you sense that you are not being watched anymore by...
At this last moment,
Mhm.
I would like to read this list and see if
Okay.
I, off the
I'm
top
actually
of my
gonna
head,
have to.
know
I'm
about
actually
this.
gonna have to write it up.
I can do this next session then.
Yeah. I'll give it to you in between.
All right, dope. I'll figure that
Have
out.
a great night, Astro.
Yep.
And
I'll
thank you for
see
playing.
y'all.
And I will talk to you
I
around. See you
am
around.
very
And
excited for
yay!
how this will go.
Excellent.
Good luck,
So
y'all.
Kleeck still has time, but you're still gonna get a long rest in there at some point. So we'll just go over that next time. So yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say he would probably go searching for those things, so we can figure that out over between sessions.
For sure.
And how I can roll nature and survival and stuff to figure out how successful he was between sessions as well.
Awesome. Well, have a great night, boss. I
Yep.
will talk to you later.
See ya.
All right. So for Leon, Yoga, and Bron, anything as you head back to the west side of the river, or what you want to do? Because it looks like you're talking about buying some scrolls here.
Actually, more so making them.
Making them. Okay. You will need supplies. Do you have supplies? Have you purchased supplies at this point? I thought you did at one point, but maybe you
I
used
bought
them.
stuff for spell components, not supplies. No. And honestly, I think this might, because I'm going to make a dozen scrolls, so maybe not a dozen, but a bunch of scrolls. So this one might be more for like the big downtime, not just for
That's
right now.
fine. But if you're collecting stuff, you can spend time doing it now. So we have a minute or two. What, do you have anything that you want to do before we close for the night? Just collecting components to craft spell scrolls?
I'm looking at what spells I can... A lot of the other players, I can kind of guess what they might like, but a lot of my spells don't share like a spell list with the cleric, and that means Bron can't use them.
I don't really mind. I was instead of paying you to make scrolls for cleric class. I was just going to like buy some utility items instead, like
Yeah.
or
Well, Yoga wants to give
what's it called?
everyone that can
More
use one a
recipes for
scroll,
potions.
but yeah, it's kind of just going to be what I have. Like, I think I'd give Brightleaf a fog cloud scroll because I know rangers get that, and protection from good and evil is just going to be a very good choice for a scroll that I was probably going to hand out to Jacob. And then Leon can literally choose from my spell list because his spell list is wizard and sorcerer, so he can...
That's true.
But nah, I was gonna spend most of my money on like learning new recipes for poisons and potions and making them and getting.
Yeah, that's fair. And
items
I
for,
was
like,
talking
working
about,
on
like, I will
them.
make this regardless of whether you pay for it. So this is something I wanted to
Nice.
do for everyone.
So Bron is going to be trying to find ways to learn more poison recipes and practice them and make them. I don't know where you would learn that. So you have an idea of where you would want to try and learn that?
Shard Temple?
You could just stick around and see if there's anyone there that can teach it to you.
Oh, it was the Shard Temple where Bron grew up that taught him the potions and poisons he knows now.
Yeah, they'd have someone there. So that's a great idea. If you want to stick around and practice that, that's something that you can spend, 6 hours on or whatever the amount of time that you have remaining.
All right, yeah, hell yeah, I'll do that. As
All
well,
right.
downtime before we take a long rest.
All right, cool. So
I could insult Bro and give him the spare the dying cantrip scroll.
the thing he wants most to do is save people's lives. So I guess roll and a basic intelligence check, Bron, to see how much you're able to pick up studying in just 6 hours. Oh, with a 16, that's actually pretty good. I will come up with one recipe to give you for a poison, and I will do that in the week between. You'll be able to learn one poison. Anything in particular that you would have asked about? Now that you've succeeded, let's find out what you wanted.
I have a little list of poisons that I found on because there's not a lot of official poisons.
True,
So
true.
I found a homebrew page.
Okay, yeah. Give me the list of the ones that you were looking at, and I will pick one or make one similar that I feel like is, I'll probably pick, but whatever. You know what I mean?
Alright. Yeah.
Worm's
Um,
tail.
So Bron, you are able to study with one of the poisoners, one of the fellow priests of this Temple of Shar. They appear to only have one temple. You remember at the temple, the sort of grand Temple of Shar that you were raised in, there was a whole sort of sect of poisoners that you worked with, and you, as you recall, there were a couple lizard folk among them.
Alrighty.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll pick a poison for you. So you spend your time doing that, and actually probably come back for the long. You could also technically long rest at the Shar Temple if you wanted to, but whatever. Leon or Yoga, anything you want to do in that meantime?
For downtime, well, shit.
Are we still on game, or is this kind of like after session? Because what I was kind of wanting to do was talk to Greenwood just about payment, and I was offering to help on that.
We can do that next session. We're kind of at the post. I just wanted to see if anyone had anything that they knew they wanted to do tonight that I can kind of work on in the interim.
Yeah.
Yoga wants to talk to Caede. That's fine. We can do that for some of your downtime afterwards.
I'm looking at. I can't remember, Leon, did you look at my spell list and decide if there's a certain scroll you want? Because you can literally choose from any of my spells. You're the one person in the party that does not have a restriction.
I have not yet, because I don't have the D&D Beyond thing pulled up, but I can do that. I think I can. Oh, I hear us. There it is. Give me thy. How do I close screen
If you
here?
choose a spell level above first, I will ask that you split the gold cost. Just because everyone else is getting a first level scroll, so I'm trying to be kind of in a fair light to everyone.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not made of money.
Frost fingers or grease? Either one are right up my alley.
Okay, grease then, because Frost Fingers, that's a magic item I had. I just added the spell so I could quote unquote cast the spell when I use the item.
That's fine.
Okay, but yeah, grease, please. I love
Alright,
grease.
that works.
I'm one of those DMs that rules that grease can be flammable.
Yes.
Because grease is flammable. So
Yes, thank you. Oh my god.
I'm
Okay,
sorry
fine.
if people rule that grease isn't flammable. It's do you know what grease is?
I also thought I think I don't remember if I added that when we were talking about in questions, but I think you could even use the same line from Web when it's caught fired as 2d4. I think 2d4 I don't know, because it is first level, but it's
being on fire is its own thing. So if you're covered in grease and you get hit with fire, you're now on fire because you're covered in greasy fire. You can put it out. There's ways to put it out and stuff, but you're going to be on fire until you take an action to stop, drop, and roll or whatever it is to put out a fire. So there's rules for it. It's just being on fire. There's nothing standing in fire or being on fire. There's already a rule for that. So that's what happens. It burns out. It goes away, but it's also magical. So, the fire wouldn't be. The grease is magic, but not whatever. It's not magic fire. It's just fire.
Bye-bye. That's all you have to do.
So this
you are
worked
fire.
out. The 3 spellcasters get scrolls, and I'm probably if I don't end up actually enchanting anything with Kleeck, I'll probably just offer to pay for the enchantments with some sort of light.
That's fair.
And then everyone's got a little bit of yoga help.
Gotcha. Well, very cool then. I will hit the stop button on the recording. I foolishly missed half of it. Oh, yeah? Was there anything else?
Yeah, downtime, I want to use my fortune telling class ability.
Okay. What does this do
And
again? Because I don't have it up in front of me.
let me read it out. It's here somewhere. There it is. I can spend an hour of downtime with one individual and grant them a 1 day use or a 1 day use of one of the positives of my cards.
Ooh. Who and what card?
This for this one, it would be Rhea, and I would give her the judgment for cannot be surprised by she cannot be surprised as in by traps or ambushes or whatnot.
Okay. And what's the minus?
It's just one positive, but she only gets it per
Oh,
day.
okay, cool. That's fine. Rhea absolutely, and this will be later after she comes back from her time spent with Lucy and stuff. I'll say that you can do this during your long rest. I don't care. You'll spend the hour doing the reading with her, and she with the judgment card. And I don't know how you want to flavor it, but she seems a little tense after the reading with the judgment and how you flavor it. And she is now pretty wary, and I'm gonna say that's why she can't be surprised, is because she's now a little on edge because of the reading you gave her.
I've spooked the spookable.
You
Okay.
have spooked the rogue, and now she's very attentive for the next 24 hours, which might come in handy in ways you don't understand. So let's wrap tonight. I will hit stop.